Okay, now we'll start. Good evening to all the participants. I hope my voice is clear to everybody. Uh, if anybody is not able to hear me clearly, he or she may message me. The concerns will take care immediately. First of all, I'm sorry that due to some technical reason, we had to wait for about half an hour unnecessarily. So I will try to cover fast because a lot of things have to be covered. Now, first of all, to begin with, let me introduce myself. My name is Gopal Krishna Dwivedi, as you might have already known. I am a retired IAS officer recently. I worked as a Special Chief Secretary, Andhra Pradesh. Uh, uh, Basically, philosophy, why I want to involve myself because I'm myself very interested, and quite long ago I have given the exam also, scored very well marks. So therefore, the philosophy we have taken, and we will take it forward. As we will take it forward, you will understand why and what has to be done and how to proceed. Uh, Regarding the structure of this class, I would like to tell before I take up the class actually. Today, since this is introductory class, so what we will do is we will first understand philosophy as a subject in UPSC. What is the syllabus? How questions come? What is the syllabus analysis? What is the questions analysis, particularly previous year questions? What we can choose the topics for study out of analysis after analysis of syllabus as well as the questions. And then also we will try to understand what are the tips for answer writing, good answer writing. And after that, I will like to introduce one topic from second paper of the philosophy. Uh, and then I would like to give one question which you can write answer and send to me, mail to me. If you are interested, I will try to evaluate that. And again in next weekly, because this class will be, session will be on weekly basis. Today is introductory, so I have put it 6 o'clock. Now, from next week, I just want to tell you uh, what I'm proposing is every Saturday we will have this class from 9 to 10 p.m. So that it's convenient to all the participants, everybody. Today I have already told what we will do. From next sessions, what we will do is first 10 minutes we will take up the questions or doubts or queries which uh, students have raised in last 1 week and I have got through mail. Mostly, I would like that if you want to contact me, you can send a mail. I will give you the mail ID also at the end of the class so that I can take it up in next class, first 10 minutes. And then subsequently, uh, we will discuss the model answers for the previous week's question after discussing a few candidates' answers, how they have written, and then we will again take up another topic, maybe from first paper or second paper. We will put a sequence also, and then again we'll have a question for next week discussion. So this will be our routine for week to week, and we try to by October end that I would like to uh, continue this. So roughly about 30 to 35 classes we can have, and 30 to 35 topics we can complete if all of you are interested. Uh, I would definitely like that the candidates who join me are really serious candidates, because non-serious candidates there is no use also, because I am very serious for this whole session. So similarly, I would expect from all of you also that you also be equally serious. So this is the basic thing regarding the structure of the class and what we are going to do today, what we are going to do in subsequent classes. Now, just a few general things regarding philosophy as a subject I would like to tell, so that you can try to understand. I have gone through very deeply and made a very deep analysis of this subject. The uh, what I want to say is the subject, uh, syllabus, questions, etc. We can understand how they are asked in the exams and how we can prepare in a very focused manner. Because once we uh, understand that, our preparation will be very easy. Just I want to share this. Uh, mm, Coming up, but okay. Mm. Okay, I think there's some problem in sharing. Mm, Let me connect it. Yeah. Now we have got yeah. So first we will start with the question which most of you might have already known, that why one should select philosophy as the optional subject. You might have already gone through many this uh, material and literature available in the on the net. Uh, Now I have compiled everything, and in a very detailed manner, I have put the reasons basically. So all of you may understand that philosophy is a very good subject for all those students who have studied philosophy as well as those students who have not studied. Only thing is one should be interested in this, because once you are interested, you will be able to make it very, very easily. See, first thing is, this is shortest syllabus, one of the shortest syllabus in the UPSC. Uh, if you see all the subjects, uh, it's very well defined, static, compact, and uh, small syllabus. It can be completed in 3 months' time. But if you have more time, you can practice a lot, and you can definitely keep on practicing, writing good answers so that you can score good marks. Its nature is static. I mean, you might already know, and I also understand, because when I gave exam about 34, 35 years back, almost syllabus was same except very minor change. Only thing is that at that time the two papers were there of 300 marks each. Now it's 250. So syllabus is very static in nature. Usually, maybe one or two questions in second paper, sometimes for 10 or 20 marks you get from current affairs related. Now that also not directly but indirectly. Uh, so uh, uh, Static syllabus makes it very easy for uh, the students to cover it in a continuous way, because in 1 year, second year also same syllabus, so it's easy also. Now, I have already told accessibility from for all backgrounds, whether you are arts, whether you are science, whether you are engineer, whether you are any subject. I mean, you have studied philosophy is a new subject for everybody. You may know that till at least 12th class, nobody studies philosophy. So basically, it's in graduation and post graduation. So therefore, it's new for everybody. So I mean, that is good. Relevant for other exam components, you may already know that there is ethics paper, there is also essay writing. So for all this, This is quite useful. In fact, few of the topics directly it can, are related with ethics. A few of, essay writing also, it's quite uh, important as far as philosophy is concerned. Uh, Other reasons, holistic thinking, rational thinking, little abstract, but yes, that is also there, because if you try to understand the concept of the philosophy in a nice manner, you will understand that uh, it's it improves analytical and writing skills. It encourages holistic and rational thinking. So therefore, also personal and professional development. So accordingly, it also helps in interview also, because interview questions also, your bent of mind, your aptitude, your uh, uh, total personality also improves accordingly. So there are several reasons for selecting the philosophy as an optional subject, but some cons are also there. It's complex and abstract topics are there. Some people may not be at all interested in some of the topics. They may think that what kind of material we are studying and why we should believe in all this, or try to study also. So that is, and understanding also for such persons, it may be little difficult. Recently, recent papers I have seen, they have started asking indirect questions, because earlier they were asking direct questions, but which were easy. You study some topic, go and write the answers. Nowadays, indirect questions are there. Content is almost same, but perhaps presentation will be little different. So the questions which we get in the papers nowadays is basically indirect ones. So that is again a little this thing. Uh, Writing proficiency is required, because you have to express the ideas. You have to, but that is required in every paper. So I don't think that is a big negative. Uh, Now, number of candidates opting for philosophy, recent whatever was available on internet and other sources I have taken, roughly about 6 to 7% is the success rate in philosophy. If you see about 400 to 800 candidates in different years, which is about 4 to 8% of the total candidates writing the mains exam. They write the mains exam with philosophy as optional, and success rate is about 6 to 8%, depending on which year you take it up. Some of the toppers also have been there from philosophy background in some of the years. Even number 2 rank holder, or even number 3 rank holder in 2020, they were from the philosophy optional. So basically, in conclusion, basically my understanding is, if you are uh, interested in this subject, if you want to understand what are the basics of different Indian philosophy, Western philosophy, religion, etc., and you have some aptitude for those abstract topics, definitely you should go for philosophy, because other things, preparation wise, it's quite easy. Short syllabus and static syllabus definitely helps in preparations. Now, after understanding why one should take philosophy, let us uh, try to see what is the syllabus of philosophy. Now, if you see in paper one, there are two parts you may be knowing already: Western philosophy and Indian philosophy. In Western philosophy, again, there are about 11 chapters or topics, you can say, starting from Plato and Aristotle to Quine and Strawson, which includes subsequently rationalism, empiricism. All these topics are there. So basically 11 topics for the Western philosophy, and another 9 for Indian philosophy. So basically roughly about 20 topics, chapters, we can say. Number of philosophers are more. Topics we will come, how many topics we have to study, because in some of the chapters you will have 2 or 3 or 4 also. So, but in paper one, as prescribed in UPSC, there are 20 chapters, you can say, or 20 kinds of philosophers we'll have to study. Similarly, if you see paper two syllabus, there are again 10 topics in socio-political philosophy. Again, it has two parts, you may be knowing. One is socio-political philosophy, part A. Part B is philosophy of religion. And the socio-political philosophy has 10 parts. Again, philosophy of religion has another 10. So basically, if you see, syllabus is quite small. Maximum 25 chapters are there, 25. I mean, in both papers, if you take roughly about 45 to 50 chapters are there. So 45 or 50 days, if you read one chapter daily, or suppose if I take one class every week in 40 to 45 weeks, I can also complete all the chapters of both papers, paper one and paper two. Now, third thing which I just want to show you is what was the recent paper. I mean, some of you who have joined might have given this year's main examination also. So see, this is 2024 examination paper. You may be already knowing there are two sections. Now, in uh, every section, both section A and section B, there are first and fifth questions compulsory, having 5 parts of 10 marks each. You have to write in 150 words. Then for questions, other questions, you have to take up 3, roughly about one. I mean, first part is 20 marks, second is 15 marks. So basically, you have to again write in 300 to 400 words the answers from question 2 to other I mean optional questions you have to take up. So basically, just I want to show you this is the paper for the 2024 examination, paper 1, and then similarly this is the paper 2. The pattern of the examination one should be very clear. There has to be, I mean, why I am showing all this and further analysis also I will show, because our study, our talk should be totally focused. We should not go out of the syllabus or out of the focus unnecessarily things, because see, you have, I mean, every candidate has uh, limited time. So in limited time, you have to study. So if you study unnecessary things, or if you study those things which are not directly related with the examination, you may be spending time gaining knowledge, but definitely not able to gain the marks. So basically, this is the second paper. Again, if you see section B, it has philosophy of religion 5. In fifth question, there are 5 parts, 10 marks each. And then we have seventh, eighth, and sixth, seventh, eighth question. So basically, these are the this is the pattern of the examination. Now, if you analyze the syllabus, see how syllabus has progressed and how which chapter is covered for how many marks in the both the papers that I have done. See, syllabus analysis and strategy for philosophy optional. Now, syllabus I have already told, so I'm not going to repeat that because this is the paper 1. So paper 1, right from Plato and Aristotle, you move to uh, Strawson, Queen and Strawson. So, and then again Charvaka and this up to Aurobindo, it's Indian philosophy. Similarly, paper 2 is socio-political. Already I have shown the same thing is the here. Now, what should be our strategy, philosophy optional strategy? Before we discuss section wise, see, adequate test practice is very important. This is not only for philosophy, but for every paper, it's important. So this will help in better time management, because test practice, even if you know certain things, if you don't know how to write, it will be, I mean, you may not be able to fetch good marks. So basically, test practice is very, very important. Enrolling in a good test series in philosophy optional would be very effective. I'm sure you might have enrolled in other series, test series also. Here also, we will have some practices. Maybe in next 30, 35 weeks, we will have at least 30, 35 questions, or even more also, depending on your interest. So we can at least know those topics, and we can know how to write, what to write in those things. Previous year question paper is very, very important in the philosophy, because as I told you, this is static subject. Usually the questions are repeated. Topics are anyway repeated. Topics are repeated every year, but most of the times questions are also repeated. If you, I will in my question analysis, I will show you how questions are repeated. Sometimes it's directly same to same word is also repeated in philosophy papers. Now paper 1, if you see how many marks, which chapter. So this is basically Indian philosophy. Now, Indian philosophy, if you see, this I have done from right from 2013 to 2024. So basically, this is roughly about 12 years of the analysis. And if you see, every year, almost every uh, chapter is covered, whether it is Charvaka, Jainism, Buddhism, Nyaya Vaisesik, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, School of Vedanta, Aurobindo. Yes, marks may vary. Some years, School of Vedantas have been asked 45 marks also. In some years, Nyaya Vaisesika have been asked for 55 marks. In some years, it's balanced because 10, 10, 15 or something like that. But one thing is very clear that in each year, almost all topics in the syllabus are covered. Hence, all topics are important from exam point of view. Further, in recent years, as I have already told, no direct questions have been, number of direct questions, indirect questions have increased. It has been observed that many questions are not from single topic. In fact, they cover more than one topic. In one question, they are asking some comparative kind of thing or some connection also. Particularly, they are also asking Western Indian philosophy connections. So earlier, it was a direct question. If some um, uh, question was there from one chapter, let us say Buddha, so it will be from Buddhism only. But now they just want, they may ask to compare it from Buddha to uh, some other philosopher in Western philosophy also. So that also there. So questions are overlapping with each, hence thorough understanding of the topics is essential. So basically understanding one topic itself may not be sufficient. You have to understand one topic, other topic, and also interrelation between that. Basically comparability between those topics. So that is also important. Uh, Books you may be already knowing. I will also give at the end. I mean, of this thing, which books are there. Same books usually everybody reads. So reading. I mean, that also brings me to another point. See, almost the material available in the market or books available are same for everybody. But still, some people may be scoring more than 300 marks. Some people may be scoring 200 marks. So basically, where is the difference? Difference is how to write the answers, number one. And number two, how to write something extra, some extra than others which they are writing. So basically, for these two things, you have to prepare well, because unless you do that, things will not improve upon. So Western philosophy, again, I have done the same analysis right from 2013 to 2024. And if you see, similar pattern is there in this also. Almost all chapters, right from rationalism or even Plato and Aristotle, because there is no chapter. Yes, it's there that in some year from Hegel, let us say 24, in Hegel, from Hegel only 5 marks question was asked. But previous year 20 marks question was asked. So marks may vary, importance of the philosophers may vary year to year, but definitely every philosopher is touched in the exam. For this section, again, book I have written, but again, that I will give later on also. So paper two, similar things, socio-political philosophy and philosophy of religion. In socio-political philosophy, if you see again, uh, similar pattern is seen. Some years, some chapters are given more weightage. For example, if you see in 2024, humanism, secularism, and multiculturalism, 50 marks questions were asked. I mean, in different sections. Uh, but in previous year, it was only 25. So that is also again uh, issue we should keep in mind. But every chapter is covered. Similarly, if you see philosophy of religion, again the same thing. Every chapter is covered, and you cannot leave any chapter if you want to score good marks. So, what in the conclusion I would like to say, uh, you may be knowing already there is a constraint of space and time in the mains exam. You have to present the answer in the best possible manner within a limited window of space time. So it helps if one has a structure framework in mind to write answers. I mean, before you write, you should have some structure, and then uh, you can definitely quickly you can fill that structure so that or framework so that your answer will become a structured answer. And this you have to keep in mind while preparing notes also for philosophy optional, because once you prepare the notes, that only you will study throughout, and also 2-3 days or 4 days before the exam. I mean, this is one very important point. Uh, what my suggestion is that start an introduction to the doctrine asking question, but uh, even though introduction is important, but if number of words are very less, it cannot be unnecessarily long. It can be one line, it can be half sentence or something like that. Or if you have 300 to 400 words, then you can be 2, 3 sentences. But introduction, if you are writing, it can, even though it gives a good feeling about the answer, good presentation, but still number of words are to be kept in mind. Then you should discuss each aspect of the theory in detail. You should talk about the interconnection in this particular theory or doctrine with other theories. I have already told, because even though, nowadays they are asking also interconnections with different theories, but even if it is not asked, at least if you know it, uh, maybe in 2, 3 sentences, if you can put it in your answer, that will distinguish your answer or differentiate your answer from other answers. And as I told, that will fetch you better marks as far as the uh, other candidates are concerned. Then criticism, fair criticism is very, very important for each question. Fair criticism, and I call it critical evaluation. You have a fair criticism, and then also you evaluate. So concluding remarks also you can put that. So you can compare the theory with other theories, philosophers, if possible, applicable, draw a parallel with Western and Indian theory also. You may also refer to contemporary theories. See, sometimes modern scientific developments or modern theories also, because one topic I am taking today, so in that I will show you how modern philosophers have done, or even modern scientists, sometimes they also contribute to new kind of thinking as far as philosophy is concerned. So that also is very, very important, because that also you should try to write. Sometimes reference, I was telling, sometimes reference of modern scientific and technological developments may also enrich the answer. In conclusion, you should talk about the significance or utility of the theory. These are very important things, tips for writing the answers. I will be also separately telling how to write the answer. Now, these are the books which you might be already having. I have also gone through all these books. You might have also gone through. So please understand, these are very important books. You have to go through, whether it is Western philosophy, Indian philosophy. Uh, uh, so uh, uh, Similarly, but number of books I have kept very limited, because see, you can keep on increasing the number of books, but that is not going to help much. So because same thing will be repeated in different form in other books. So you should understand with these basic books, and then try to do writing practice, etc., so that you can improve upon the answer writing thing. I have also written, because some candidates may be from Hindi medium also, if they are. I have also written similarly, because most of the English books there are Hindi translations also, or Hindi original writers also they have written, so that also they can take. So basically, this is the books, this thing. Now, uh, after that, if we see, syllabus analysis, then there is question analysis, previous year questions. I was telling you how to understand which question is repeated and which topic is repeated continuously. So again, for about 12 years, last 12 years question analysis I have done. Similar for Western philosophy, for Indian philosophy, for socio-political philosophy, for philosophy of religion. And this, if you see, uh, for example, one chapter I will explain, because there are similar things, questions I have done right from 2012, 13 to 2024. I have done it. For example, let us say one example I will give you. For example, today I am taking one topic. I will tell that only, because uh, one very interesting topic I am taking up today, after this introduction is over, that is problem of evil. This is a topic from philosophy of religion. Most of you might have already read it. So in problem of evil, if you see, this topic I will take it. I will take up today, because in the second half. So in problem of evil, there are 8 questions from 2012 to 2024, and almost all questions. Anyway, the topic is also very small topic. but almost all questions, directly or indirectly, are asking similar things. For example, let us say in 2024 also there was 15 marks question. The question was, problem of evil is direct offshoot of how God is conceptualized in a system. Now, this is a little indirect question, because other questions are, some questions, some year it's quite direct question, but this is indirect question. So once I discuss this, I will tell you how to tackle these kind of questions. But if you see, for example, second, do you think that evil is a bitter pill which no theist can swallow? Discuss. Now, similar question in 2015, 2021, 2022. So in all the 3 years, almost same wording question was there. So similarly, other topics also, if you go through PYQs, you will understand that similarly questions and topics have been continuously been repeated. So this is what I just want to tell you now. Similarly, socio-political philosophy. For example, if you see, explain, this is sovereignty. Explain Harold Lasky's critique of sovereignty, 2015, 2018, 2023. All the 3 years this question was asked. So, or let us say in the social and political ideals, if you see, how is Amar Sen's approach to justice different from that of Rawls? 2013, 2021, this question was there. So repetitions are quite common in philosophy that we should understand. And if we analyze or we see previous year questions, we will ourselves understand. And that will also help in our preparation as well as in answer writing practice, etc. We can keep that thing in mind. After this question analysis, I will come to see, now we have what we have done is we have understood the syllabus, we have done the question analysis. Now, what are the important topics for philosophy which we should study? As I was earlier telling, we have to identify the topics. For example, in Western philosophy. Now, in Plato, we have 3 topics, important topics, which have been, after the syllabus and after the questions analysis: theory of forms, or theory of recollection, or theory of reminiscence, Plato's analogy of cave. Similarly, in Aristotle, we have 8 topics. In Descartes, we have 3. Spinoza, again 3. Leibniz, 4 topics. So accordingly, if you see, for example, Kant is very important philosopher as far as question point of view also. So there are several topics from the Kant, because definitely a question of 20 marks you can expect from the Kant. So similarly, Hegel is there, Moore, Russell. So basically what I want to say is, once you analyze the syllabus, previous year questions, you can understand what are the important topics which we need to study. So this is what I have done. Now, I will come to same problem of evil which I am taking today. And these things we will keep in mind in our weekly sessions also. Whichever topic we are studying, we will try to see what is the syllabus of that topic, what are the important topics or important aspects of that topic which have been continuously asked, and then what are the questions also which have come in previous years, so that accordingly we can not deviate from this thing. Now, I was telling problem of evil. Now let us see problem of evil. Now, in problem of evil, there are basically 3 topics. Problem of evil itself, because they may discuss problem of evil, that itself a question. Then evil is a bitter pill which no theist can swallow. Then is evil reconcilable with the benevolent God? So basically, these 3 questions I have identified in problem of evil. So as I was telling, this topic is a small topic, but definitely you will get one question. So basically, this makes because see, in paper 2 there are 42 topics we have identified. In philosophy of religion, 42 topics. In if you see, then socio-political philosophy, again 43 topics. Then in paper 1, if you see, in Indian philosophy, 42 topics. And again, Western philosophy, 67. So basically, Western philosophy is little bigger because number of philosophers are more in number in Western philosophy. You might have already known that. So that makes the number of topics which we need to focus in Western philosophy about 67. Some of the philosophers very important. For example, in existentialism, there are three: Kierkegaard, Sartre, and Heidegger. Now, there are several questions asked from these three philosophers. So, basically, number of philosophers are more. Therefore, in Western philosophy, the syllabus is a little bigger than other parts, whether it is Indian or philosophy of religion and this thing. So, these are the topics which we will focus in, try to focus, and which you should also focus in your study whenever you study. Now, before I start the my topic of problem of evil, and last thing I just want to say is instructions for writing model answers, because every week we will be floating one question for your exercise. See, as I've already told, writing, practicing answer is very, very important because this is as good, as important as studying itself. Even if you know the concept, if you don't have practice or don't practice for writing, you will not be able to fetch good marks. So, you see, I have already told the structure of answer should be introduction, main body, and conclusion. Now, again, I am repeating and emphasizing introduction has to be depending, I mean, length of introduction should depend on the total number of words given to you. So if it is 150 word question, it cannot, you cannot write more than 10 words or 8 words. I mean, or you may not write also sometimes if not required. So basically it has to be requirement based. Yes, in 20 marks question, definitely 2-3 lines you can write. But again, I will tell you, the introduction has to be a compelling and relevant opening. So basically, you cannot write a simple sentence. It has to be such sentence or phrase or which will be very, very attractive as far as the examiner is concerned. It can include a definition, a historical context, or a thought-provoking statement. So this is very important as far as the introduction is concerned. Main body, after introduction, I mean, you have to directly attack the question. Section should be systematically present logical arguments, key ideas, and analysis which has been asked. It should be structured. If it is longer one, it should be structured using headings, subheadings, or bullet points wherever necessary. Again, I am repeating, it's not compulsory to write heading everywhere or subheading everywhere or bullet points everywhere, but wherever necessary. So that if we practice, we'll be understand in due course. Conclusion end with a concise summary that reinforces the central theme. It may include a forward-looking perspective, significance, or real-world relevance of the topic. So this is again an important thing because in conclusion, what we need to write is we should know, because otherwise, so basically you have to write in very, very careful manner. You have to attract the attention of the examiner and fetch good marks accordingly. Balance between these sections should be adjusted based on prescribed word limit. Again, I am repeating, word limit, prescribed word limit is very, very critical because you cannot waste the number of words or sentences there. So that is very important. Word limit, see, in our model answers, what we will do, we will try to go a little beyond the word limit which is prescribed in the question paper, because sometimes why I'm saying this, because sometimes a question you practice for 10 marks, but the same question you may get for 20 marks also. So if you have practiced it for a little more number of words, it will be better for the concerned candidate. So therefore, what in my practice, practice sessions, my suggestion will be, for 10 marks questions, you should try to write 150 to 250 words. For 15 marks, you should try to write 225 to 350 words. For 20 marks, 300 to 500 words, because actually in actual exam, it should be interchangeable. Whatever you have practiced for 10 marks, same question if comes for 20 marks, you should be able to write. Whatever question you have practiced for 20 marks, if it comes for 10 marks, you should be able to write. So therefore, I have already written it. For 10 marks, 150 words is required. For 15 marks, if you see the same ratio, 225 words is required. For 20 marks, 300. But we will try to go a little beyond these number of words, limited words, so that you can interchange depending on the requirement in the actual exam. Again, same thing I have told, model answers should be flexible enough to be adopted to different word limits in the actual exam. So this is very, very important, because then our practice will be real practice. Organization and presentation is, I have already told, but again, in a very more systematic manner, I want to tell, use numbered points, paragraphs or bullet points for clarity and structured flow. Adopt a multi-dimensional approach covering various perspectives, such as comparative analysis between Indian Westerns. This is important, because even, I mean, if they have asked in the questions, anyway you should write. But even if it has not been asked, it's definitely you should write, because that will distinguish your answer from other candidates' answer. So comparative analysis between Indian and Western, comparison of similar concept of different philosophers in the same stream of philosophy. For example, in Indian philosophy also, the same topic, if different philosophers have covered, you can write some 1 or 2 or 3 sentences for that, even if it has not been asked, because that will fetch better marks. Connections between different philosophical thoughts and modern scientific and technological development. This is again very important, because sometimes we understand that philosophy and religion is very traditional and not related to modern scientific and technological developments. It's not true. For example, if you will be studying the concept of soul, whether soul is there or not. Now, for that, a lot of research has gone in modern science and technology. So that also we need to know and we need to mention. So, I mean, I'm giving an example. Once we go through various topics, we will definitely understand. Importance of critical evaluation is again very, very important. In second last paragraph, you should demonstrate analytical depth and intellectual. So critical evaluation means, I mean, fair criticism you do of that thought or that idea, and then come up with yeah, I mean, concluding remarks. What can be its utility, how it's useful to the society, or how it has been useful for further other philosophers to develop that idea. So that has to be in the concluding remarks. Then your answer should be clear, logical, and well structured. Use headings and subheadings. I have already told this being repeated, but this is important, particularly in bigger number. I mean, if 400, 300, 400 words, then headings and subheadings are also important. Then highlight or underline key terms, important philosophers' names and crucial arguments to make essential points stand out. This is very, very important, because if you are highlighting or underlining the key terms, it will directly attract the examiner's attention, and he will understand your how what is your depth of knowledge and what is your understanding of the topic, and definitely you may get better marks. Inclusion of philosophers and quotations. I mean, this is very also important, particularly if you are quoting in Indian philosophy some Veda or some other Sanskrit literature, you can write in Sanskrit as well. If it is English philosophers, definitely you have to write in their own quotations. So prominently mention relevant names of philosophers, thinkers, and critics. Incorporate relevant quotations wherever feasible, ensuring proper attribution to enhance the credibility of arguments. This is very important, and all these points, I mean, whatever I am discussing, we will follow in our practice also, practice answers also, so that we understand how to write good answers. Now, use technical terms and keywords to demonstrate a nuanced understanding of the philosophical concepts. This is also very important, because your use of phrases, technical phrases, terms, keywords, etc., are also very, very important. And not only use, you underline that, you highlight that, so that the examiner definitely knows that you have you know those things. Support your arguments with examples to illustrate ideas and improve comprehension. This is again very important thing. Maintain a balanced approach, acknowledging both strengths and criticism of the topic we discuss. See, sometimes our personal bias comes in that. So please understand, you should not allow that in writing the answers. You have to be, again I'm saying, it has to be fair criticism. If some argument or some, I mean, idea is there, it may have some positive points in strengths and it may have some negative points. So you have to mention both the points. So it has to be a balanced approach. It cannot be simple that all through criticism is there, or there is no use, or there is no strength in the argument. So please understand that your personal bias should not be taken into that. Ensure coherence and logical progression, linking various points seamlessly. See, if you're writing a little 300, I mean, more number of words, 300 or 400 word answer, I mean, it cannot be that your different paragraphs are totally detached. One paragraph after the other has to be in a very, very good coherence and logical progression. So that also understand. So basically, what I want to say is practice of answers, writing good answers is very, very important. And if you do that, after a good study, you will fetch very good marks. Philosophy is very scoring, I mean, scoring subjects for those candidates who understand how to write and who know what to write, basically. So this is what I am telling about writing the answers. Now, till now, what I've done is we have analyzed the syllabus, we have analyzed the questions, we have identified the topics which we need to study in each chapter. We have also understood how to write a good answer. Now, I will take up one topic because uh, this as I was telling, problem of evil, because most of you who might have already uh, studied philosophy till now, because some candidates might have already appeared in mains, they might have already studied, some may be new candidates. So basically, I will start in a very basic manner, but some terms particularly new candidates, some terms you will take some this thing to understand, but still it's quite easy. See, as I have already told, in problem of evil, the syllabus is, I mean, this topic is single topic basically, and we will try to understand what is problem of evil and what are the questions asked and how we can further proceed in this thing. See, problem of evil is one of the most important challenges for a theist, uh, believer in God. Actually, if you might have studied, some persons might have studied, or you will come to study with me also. See, for a theist, a God is all powerful. He is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent. So, for that kind of God, who has, I mean, they believe that he has created the universe, he has created the world. So that is the theism basically. Because theism is important because that that believes in a God who can be worshipped, who is all powerful, who can be relied. So basically, this problem of evil is a problem for them. So the understanding is that problem of evil is one of the most profound challenges in philosophy of religion and theology. It questions how an omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, and omnibenevolent. I'm sure you may be knowing omnipotent means all-powerful, omniscient means all-knowing, and omnibenevolent means perfectly good. God can allow evil and suffering in the world. If God possesses these attributes, why does he permit human and natural suffering? So this is the basic question. Now, it has been presented in different forms by different philosophers in different ages, basically. So we will try to first understand, and then how a theist has replied it, or how other philosophers have replied it. There are a lot of criticism. There is a lot of support also. Basically, both sides philosophers have uh, argued. So in this analysis or in this chapter, we want to study is what are the types of evil, then logical and evidential problem of evil, because problem of evil has two aspects, logical and evidential. Then philosophical and theological theodicies. Theodicies means same, the solution of the problem of evil, basically. Uh, Theodicy means basically, literally meaning, if you say this is theodicy means justification of God, justification of a omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent God. That is theodicy. So basically, philosophical and theological theodicies, how they have defended that God, then criticism of those theodicies, then religious perspective on evil, and then modern philosophical responses. As I told, we will be in every chapter, we will be focusing this very, very importantly, that religious perspective and also modern philosophical responses. What are those for every topic which we take up? Now, types of evil, see, moral evil, and then there is natural evil. Now, moral evil arises from human free will and deliberation. See, suppose some person does some wrong, then he has to be punished. So basically, moral evil means human being is free, they have free will, they are free to act, and if they act in a wrong manner, they are punished. So this is a moral. Examples of moral evil are war, genocide, slavery, uh, then terrorism, corruption, oppression, then personal moral failures, that is murder, dishonesty, theft, etc. Now, philosophical analysis of see this notes which I have prepared is a very brief kind of thing. But if you read the book, which I have already told, you will be. I mean, you can go in little more detail. But this is crisp kind of notes, so that without spending much time, we can understand that topic and this thing. So, philosophical analysis of this moral evil is Saint Augustine uh, in third and fourth century. Uh, he advocated privation theory of evil. He told that evil has no positive nature, but the loss of good has received the name evil. So loss of good, that is privation of good, is the evil. Augustine argued that evil is not an entity in itself, but rather the absence or corruption of good. This view shaped Christian theology. So basically, most of the Christian theology is based on the St. Augustine's view. Suggested that moral evil results from human misuse of free will. Human beings are having free will, they misuse it, and therefore the evil comes as a punishment to them. Now, criticism of this kind of theory is, does this theory account for extreme suffering such as genocide? Because no kind of moral or free will kind of thing can support that genocide is the punishment or appropriate punishment for that. Does God bear responsibility for human moral choices? Now, whether free will has been provided by the God, or is God responsible for what human choices are there? So this is again another issue which is important point in criticism of this moral evil or privation theory of evil. Natural evil is little more difficult to support by any of the philosophers, because suffering caused by natural phenomena. For example, earthquakes are there, tsunamis are there, hurricanes are there, pandemics, diseases, genetic disorders, even COVID-19, you understand, famine, drought, climate, this thing. Now, again, the philosophical analysis, David Hume, in 18th century, the challenge of natural evil, he told, I mean, basically he was telling, why should a word designed by a perfect being contain so much suffering? Basically, he was telling that natural evil does not justify a omnipotent or omniscient or omnibenevolent God. So therefore, if natural evil is like that, and he told also, why should a word designed by a perfect being contain so much suffering? Hume argued that natural evils pose a greater challenge to theism than moral evils, as they cannot be explained by free will. Now, natural evil cannot be explained. If earthquake is coming, that cannot be explained by free will, as normally theists explain. Now, criticism, again, same thing. Could natural disasters have a divine purpose, such as ecological balance? Why would an benevolent God design a world with so much unavoidable suffering? So this is again criticism of this. Now, there are two kinds. Problem of evil has two aspects basically: logical and evidential. So, logical problem of evil was first enunciated by Epicurus. This is in about third or fourth, second or third century BC. Now, paradox. He raised a paradox. He told, if God is willing to prevent evil but not able, then he is not omnipotent. If God is able to prevent evil but not willing, then he is malevolent. And if a God is both able and willing, then why does evil exist? So this was his question, question of Epicurus. Now, J.L. Mackey and David Hume further developed this argument. Mackey in the 20th century and Hume in 18th century. Mackey argued that the existence of God and evil is logically contradictory. If a perfectly good and powerful God exists, evil should not exist. Similarly, Hume also told that if suffering exists in such great amounts, it is incompatible with all good and all powerful God. This we have also seen in the natural evil Hume statement. Similarly, evidential problem of evil. So one is logical problem, another is evidential problem. These are two aspects of the problem of evil. Logical problem, I have already told you, logically, God is, the existence of God is not possible if evil is there. Evidential problem is there. What evidential problem of how it is expressed is, instead of arguing that God and evil are logically incompatible, the evidential problem states that the extent and nature of evil makes God existence highly improbable. Now, for this, there are again several philosophers. One is William Roe in 20th century itself, argued that gratuitous suffering, such as fawn burning in a forest fire with no greater good, cannot be justified. Then Paul Draper suggested that the suffering of animals throughout evolution. Now, animal suffering is also very, very important thing which has been taken by several philosophers. Paul Draper is one. He suggested that suffering of animals throughout evolutionary history contradicts the idea of a loving creator. Now, this is the problem, logical and evidential problem regarding both moral evil as well as natural evil. Now, there are theodicies, that is justification of this evil. How, there are several philosophers who have justified how God is also, God exists, omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent, God exists despite this kind of evil. So basically, theodicy refers to attempts to reconcile existence of God with existence of evil. Several responses have been proposed for this. Now, first is free will defense. Free will defense, already we have understood in moral evil thing. Now, main proponents of this free will defense is Augustine and St. Augustine and Elwin Plantinga. St. Augustine, as you know, we have discussed already, argued that evil is not created by God, but is the result of free will. God gave humans freedom and they choose to sin. Therefore, the evil is there. Elwin Plantinga is a 20th century philosopher, modern philosopher. He has told that word with free creatures is better than a word without freedom. Since freedom entails the possibility of evil, even God could not create a world where humans are both free and incapable of evil. So basically, in modern philosophy also, Elwin Plantinga has supported that because of free will, the evil is there. In history, St. Augustine has supported it. But criticism is, why did God create only those? Why did not God create only those who are free to choose good only? Why all natural evil that has nothing to do with the free will? So basically, these two are important things. Why can't, if God, if we say is omnipotent, why can't He create a human being who can only freely also chooses only good, so that there is no sin or no punishment and no evil? Second thing is, even though moral evil you are able to explain, what about natural evil? So it has nothing to do with free will. So you cannot explain that. So this is a criticism as far as the free will defense is concerned. There is another this thing is soul making theodicy. For this, there are two philosophers again I have taken, Saint Irenaeus and John Hick. Saint Irenaeus is again 2nd century philosopher, and John Hick again 20th century. Now, both propose that evil serves a moral and spiritual test. Key idea which both gave is, evil helps people grow morally. Without suffering, there would be no courage, patience, or compassion. So basically, their theory is that evil is there for betterment of the human being itself. Because of evil, they grow morally and spiritually, and therefore it's required. Now, criticism of this idea, I've taken very brief criticism, 1 or 2 points only, but if you read in detail, you can enlarge that, these kind of criticisms and the ideas also. So, why is there so much extreme suffering, which often destroys people rather than helping them grow? So basically, the critics have told that extreme suffering is not required for people's growth. Some limited suffering, some limited evil might have helped that growth in a better manner. Now, third kind of defense is greater good theodicy. For this, Leibniz and Richard Swinburne have propagated this idea. Leibniz is a 17th century philosopher. He told that this is the best possible of all worlds. God permits evil to achieve a greater good. So this is what Leibniz told. Swinburne, he is again modern philosopher. he argued that suffering allows for the development of virtues such as heroism and self-sacrifice. If you see soul-making theodicy and greater good theodicy, both are little interrelated also, and both are almost similar also, little words difference and philosophers are different. Now, criticism, again, same thing. If suffering is needed for good, does that mean extreme evils, genocide, child abuse are justified? So basically, again, the philosophers who have criticized, they say that for growth or for greater good, some kind of evil may be necessary, but not so much excessive evil is required. Third is punishment theodicy. Again, Saint Augustine and Calvinism, they propagate punishment theodicy. They say that evil is a punishment for sin. This view is common in some religious traditions also. So Augustine told Christianity, this is in Christianity also, because most of the Christianity is based on that. Evil entered in the world due to Adam and Eve's sin. Islam also, suffering is test from God or punishment for wrongdoing. Criticism, why do innocent children and animals suffer? So this is a criticism of this theory. If it is punishment theory, or evil is a punishment for sin, then why innocent children? They have not committed any sin, still they are punished. Another is process theodicy. That is Whitehead and Griffin have propagated this. Now, this interestingly, this process theodicy, they reject the God's omnipotence and solve this problem. Because if you assume that God is omnipotent, the solving may be a little difficult. But if you assume that God is not omnipotent, not all powerful, but limited, and is still working against evil. So this is what process theodicy suggests, Whitehead and Griffin, that God is only helping, or he is also working against evil. He is not all powerful. He cannot remove the evil totally. Therefore, this. But interestingly, process theodicy is against traditional theism. I told in the beginning itself, theism believes omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent God. So if some philosopher comes that no, God is not all powerful, God is, so this is against the traditional theism, and this redefines God's power. So which means that uh, uh, I mean, you are going against the tenets of the theism, and therefore, for most of the theist religious people, this process theodicy is not available. Now, criticism is the more, I've already told, that denies traditional theism and redefines God power. So most of the theists reject straightway this idea. Okay, this is not at all correct idea that God is not all powerful. So we will not agree. Now, criticism of theodicies, general criticism, I will tell you some philosophers, because as I've told in how to write answers, quoting philosophers is very, very important. So we should, therefore, in this note, these notes are according to that, because we should know the philosopher, which philosopher has told. And sometimes, they give a sentence and they say that discuss this sentence. So you should know which philosopher has told that sentence, what context he has told, and then what are the pros and cons, what are the critiques of that idea or sentence. So therefore, reading philosopher wise is also very, very important. So this is a little different kind of noting, but I think this is also important as far as the exam point of view. Now, criticism of theodicies, if you see J.S. Mill, nature often produces suffering with no moral value. This is what J.S. Mill had told. Immanuel Kant, he is also very, very important philosopher. Virtue is not always rewarded. The world is unfair. This is what Immanuel Kant has told. David Hume, the sheer amount of pointless suffering suggests no divine plan. Then another Russian philosopher is there, Dostoevsky. The suffering of even one innocent child makes justification meaningless. Then Hume and Mackey, if evil outweighs good, how can God still be omnibenevolent? So these are various philosophers which have criticized theodicy. So again, most of the philosophers have failed to explain is problem of animal suffering. Many critics extend the problem of evil to animals. Darwin's problem of evil. Now, Darwin, you may be already knowing, he has given theory of evolution in science, and he also deliberated on the evil. Nature involves violence, predation, and disease for millions of years. So in evolution, he has told. So he told this world is like that. You cannot simply say that there is some God who is creating the world. So this is evolution kind of thing. Then Michael Almeida, why would a benevolent God allow extreme animal suffering? So basically, animal suffering is not explained by any of the philosophers who are defending the evil. Then Southgate and evolutionary theory. See, this is another thing. Evolution was the only way to create sentient life, but suffering was necessary in this process. Now they have again supported this. Criticism of this idea is, couldn't God have created a life in less cruel way? I mean, this most of the philosophers have told, yes, evil is maybe to some extent necessary for goodness or growth or progress, but then I mean, lot of unnecessary evil is there, which cannot, I mean, be substantiated that God is good. Religious perspective of evil. Now, this is important because what different religions tell about the evil thing. Already, in philosophy, I mean, different philosophers which are related to different religions, they have told. No, but again, separately, I have this thing. Christianity. Now, Augustine and Aquinas. Saint Aquinas, Saint Augustine. Fall of man explains moral evil. Natural evil is punishment or a test. Islam, there are again two philosophers I have taken, Al-Ghazali and Ibn Taymiyya. Life is a test, suffering purifies the soul. Justice in the afterlife, Jannat and Jahannam. Then Hinduism, Shankara and Swami Vivekanand, they explain the evil. Karma explains suffering, ensure justice across lifetimes. They also believe, I mean, Hinduism also believe in rebirth. So whatever you have done in a previous birth, you are punished for this. So sometimes in the same birth, your whole account is not tallied, but if you take into account the rebirth and previous birth, account will be tallied. So that's what uh, uh, Hinduism says. Reincarnation allows souls to evolve morally. Then Buddhism, Gautam Buddha and Nagarjuna, Sukha, that is suffering, dukkha arises from attachment and ignorance. Liberation ends, nirvana and suffering. So basically, these are the religious perspectives. Some I have taken from the Indian philosophy, some from the Western, and one Islam. So this just to understand how different religions also view the evil. Now, contemporary perspective of evil. This is also again very important because in every topic, every chapter, we will try to study the contemporary perspectives. See, I mean, reformulated logical and evidential arguments, modern logical problems of evil. J.L. Mackey and Quinn Smith. J.L. Mackey, earlier also we were talking about him. J.L. Mackey and Quentin Smith, they have reformulated the logical and evidential argument. Mackey and Quentin Smith says, redefined the classical logical argument by challenging the coherence of divine attributes. They argue, if God is omnipotent, he should be able to create a world where beings always freely choose good. If God is omnibenevolent, he should not want to create such a world. If he cannot, he is not omnipotent. If he cannot, but does not, he is not omnibenevolent. This sharpens Epicurus. I mean, Epicurus, as I've already told, we have discussed this also, has given original paradox into a logical contradiction. Now, these modern philosophers have done the same thing. Further uh, elaborate that. Now, modern criticism of this is given by Elvin Pettinga and William Lane Craig. Free will defense, I mean, Elvin Pettinga is very famous, known for free will defense. True freedom means that even an omnipotent God cannot force beings to always choose good. This is what Elvin Pettinga says. God values genuine moral agency more than the forced goodness. So basically, they are saying that uh, even God cannot create a person who will freely choose always good. So therefore, this is important. Modern evidential problem of evil is enunciated by William Roe and Paul Draper. Evidential version does not argue that God's existence is logically impossible, but that the extent and nature of suffering makes God's existence probable. William Roe says the same thing. If in forest there is a fire, a lot of animals die, which is without any moral lesson, free will involvement or greater good. So this is totally pointless. Paul Draper has says the label of the more natural and moral is more consistent with an indifferent universe than with the existence of all good God. So what they are saying is, even if God is all good, God is not there. Perhaps that explains the natural and moral better than uh, having a theistic God. Now again, Elvin Pettinga and Michael Bergman have criticized this argument. Atheistic challenges evil as evidence against God. Atheist is easy because they don't believe in God. So they say that evil is anyway there. So because God is not there to control the evil. Uh, now again, the criticism of this atheist thought is an all evil God is logically incoherent, because see that does not satisfy the theist, that worship or faith or So if you reduce the omnipotence of God or omniscience of God, that is again a problem as far as the theist is concerned. Now, David Hayden's problem: if God wants a relationship with humanity, why does not he remain hidden? Why do sincere non-believer exist in if God desires faith? Now, criticism of this is theological. Basically, see, wherever you reduce the importance of God, that is going against theism, and therefore that is not acceptable by most of the theologians or religious people or philosophers who believe in theism. So uh, then we process theology again in modern this thing also. There is a process theology. God is not omnipotent in a coercive sense. He works persuasively, not dictatorially. Again, this is criticized by theists, because if you reduce the omnipotence, it weakens the classical theological views of divine sovereignty. So this is again a problem. Scientific and psychological perspective of evil. This is evolutionary theodicy. John Hart and Kenneth Miller have propagated that natural evil is an unavoidable consequence of evaluation. They say this is evaluation. So natural evil will be definitely there. I mean, quoting from Darwin, they have come up with this idea. A world without suffering would require an entirely different set of physical laws. So again, same problem. If God is omnipotent, why did he choose evolution, a process filled with suffering and death, instead of instant creation? And then there is a neuroscientific and psychological explanations, moral evil. Advances in neuroscience, genetics, and psychology suggest that moral behavior is influenced by brain, chemistry, and environmental conditioning. Cognitive bias, belief in just word, may be an evolved psychological coping mechanism rather than evidence of divine justice. So, scientific explanation does not address ethical or existential. So, basically, science and psychological explanations say that mind behaves in a particular manner, and that does not give evidence of any divine justice. But again, theists criticize that, do not address the ethical existential meaning of suffering, as viewed by the theists. In conclusion, I have come to end now. In conclusion, I just want to say that problem of evil is still a continuing debate. Different perspectives on the problem of evil illustrate that the issue remains still far from resolved. Atheists view suffering as a strong evidence against God's existence. Theists continue to refine their responses from classical theodicies to modern revisions of divine attributes. Science and psychology provide alternative explanations, but they do not address the philosophical or theological significance of evil. The problem of evil remains one of the strongest arguments against theism. Despite centuries of debate, no theodicy fully resolves the paradox. Some accept a limited God, while others reject God's existence entirely. So basically, uh, still it's unresolved problem. But yes, different interpretations are there. Different this thing is there. So this is basically concluding remarks as far as this thing is concerned. Now, in the end, I just want to another. I want to show you now. There is in this chapter itself, if we only go through the quotations, because this is very important from exam point of view, what each philosopher have told in different contexts. In that chapter also we have read that, but now we'll focus only on quotations, because philosophers and quotations are very important from answer writing point of view. You have to quote them, or you have to elaborate what they have said. So, for example, in logical problem of evil, that is contradiction in God's attributes, Epicurus has, as quoted by Hume, has told, is he willing to prevent evil but not able? Then he is impotent. Is he able but not willing? Then he is malevolent. Is he both able and willing? Whence then is evil? Then second is David Hume. Is he willing? So same thing, almost in different language. J.L. Mackie, the argument from evil demonstrates the incoherence of theism. Now, similarly, evidential problem of evil, Flew has given some quotations. Hume, if there is moral evil, then more evil than good in God's created beings, there is more evil than good in God also. So basically, natural evil, Hume has very strongly taken up natural evil thing and says that a good God, omni benevolent God cannot create a word which has so much natural evil. Similarly, Flew has told, then we free will theodicies, if we see Elvin Plantinga, Evil exists because God created a world with beings having freedom of will. No matter what creative act of God could have been performed, as He left humans free, they are capable of performing both the highest good as well as the cruelest evil. Saint Augustine has told, all evil is either sin or result of sin. Now, if I remember this statement in 1 year, it has come to elaborate or discuss also. Saint Augustine, all evil is either sin or result of sin. So, similarly, Theodicy justifying evil. Leibniz has told this statement also is important. This is the best possible. This word is the best possible creation of God. God is using sin and evil as a kind of foil by which he magnifies and enhances his own grace and glory. Spinoza, again, he has told, then criticism of Theodicy's, J.S. Mill, Hume, religious perspective of evil, again, Augustine of Hippo, and Thomas Aquinas, John Hick, Elvin Plantinga. So basically, in various religions also, for example, in Hinduism, if we see Adi Shankara, evil results from ignorance and karma. Ramanuja, evil is part of Vishnu's divine plan. Madhavacharya, human free will determines fate. Karma theory, evil is consequence of past actions. Buddhism, if we see, suffering arises from desires and ignorance. Tathagat Garb Sutras, if we see, all beings have a pure Buddha nature, yet evil exists. Similarly, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, if you see, alternative and contemporary approaches also. Different philosophers have put the quotations here that you may use in the answers, or you may also be asked to elaborate if required. So you should know that. This is summary of the major thinkers and their views, uh, which kind of theodicy, which thinker has or which kind of view he has given as far as the evil is concerned. So Epicurus and Hume, logical problem of evil. Rode, Repper and Mill, evidential problem of evil. Plantinga and Eckstein, free will theodicy. Leibniz, Hick, Tennant, evil as a means to greater good theodicy. Buddha, Shankara, evil is an illusion or a result of ignorance. Voltman and Parkingham, God suffers with humanity. So these kind of division, it will be very useful as far as the exam point of view is concerned. Now, this week, this question I'm giving, you may uh, go through this question. All the three RR I have written, but it's same. Discuss problem of evil, that is problem of theodicy. Evil is bitter pill which no theist can swallow. Discuss. Or is evil reconcilable with the benevolent God? And I want that you should write the answer in 400 words, so that for whatever marks this question comes, 10, 15, or 20, you should be able to write. Now, interested candidates, this is important, may send their answer PDF for evaluation and further discussion on this mail ID, defactophilosophy@gmail.com. So, if you are interested, you can send your answer PDFs. We will evaluate, and then we will discuss in next week this thing, next class. One more thing I just want to tell all the candidates, mostly we will be giving the messages, etc., for the classes and other information in the WhatsApp group we have formed, or through the group mail which we have formed. If you want, if anybody interested to add in the group, you can to admin, you can give the message along with the number, so that person can be added. The videos which we record as far as the Zoom this thing is concerned, we'll be posting on YouTube also. Now YouTube channel is basically de facto philosophy channel, which again will be posted in the groups also, so that you can see that thing also. Basically, my request will be, because if you directly message me on WhatsApp, maybe one or two I will be able to reply. It's not that difficult, but the structured way of reply will be that whatever queries or this thing I get, as I have already told in the beginning itself, in next week, this thing, first 10 minutes I will take, first 5-10 minutes, depending on how many queries or questions are there, to explain that. Then we will discuss the model answer for the previous week's question, and also some candidates who have sent their answer sheets. We will discuss without naming them, and uh, then we will continue with the next topic, which will be declaring in the WhatsApp group, which will be the next topic. You can also give suggestion if any candidate wants to request me to take some topic in before or after that. Also, I think I can take it up. But then now I think. Okay, so I think we'll close this and we will meet again next week. Date I will next week. I mean, it will be Saturday, mostly Saturday, 9 to 10, and this format will be the same. If you write me the answer of the question, I will first tell that, and then model answer, and then some new topic. Topics as Astosh has suggested, perhaps I will draw in next 2-3 days and put in the group. So if you have any suggestion, you can give. Otherwise, we'll continue with those topics. And we can put the week-wise topics also, so that you can also come prepared, so that you will be, it will be better for you to also ask the questions. So thanks a